I feel like that's a good segue to talking about your individual music and body of work. Like you mentioned Spider Gang being a post-genre collective. Where do you kind of put yourself in any one bucket? Would you define yourself as a rapper or just as an artist?
I've thought about this recently because more and more people ask me like, "Oh, what kind of music do you make?" And I'm like, "Oh, well, it's getting harder and harder to answer that question." So my answer to that was I would say either post-genre, which is just like, you know, it's like I don't, it's not like, oh, we want to be a band, let's be a rock band, or let's be a hardcore band. It's like I can make a hardcore song, or I can make a pop song, or I can have an album that's all one style of music, or an album that is all, like I can have an album that's all guitars, or an album that's no guitars, kind of thing.
Yeah,
and it's like there are artists that have done that before. I feel like it's just never been like, there's not like a name to it, which is also kind of the point. Like I feel like that's kind of like the ironic thing about calling yourself post-genre is that, oh, I'm saying I don't have a genre, so I'm creating this label, and eventually that's going to, post-genre is going to be a genre. But I also like, I think the way I think about it too is I consider myself like, not like a rapper, but like a hip-hop artist.
Yeah.
Because I remember going to this like lecture with the guys behind like Run DMC, and I remember them talking about what they thought hip hop was, and they said it's not, they don't see it as a genre, they saw it as like a filter where you take all these other genres, you could take jazz or funk or rock and turn it into something else which combines all of them. So it's almost like, you know, you listen to like early Public Enemy, Bomb Squad production, it's like a collage of like different kinds of music.
Yeah.
So it's like that's always how I've thought about it, is like when I made Meat Man, that's like a metal album, but I thought I went about it in a super hip hop mindset.
Right.
You know what I mean? Or like my last album, Divine Comedy, was a rock album. Technically, it sounds like it, but I was super influenced by like Jay Dilla. Like there are moments where I have like almost like, you know, like there's like 30-second songs and stuff like that, and like, you know, like samples and stuff like that, or like interpolating melodies, like almost like I'm sampling the melodies like from like earlier songs of my childhood. So it's like it's a quote unquote sounds like a rock album, but I think it's like a very like hip hop mindset, even though I'm not rapping. So it's like I think that's like kind of also another way I think about it.
Yeah, you have albums like Meat Man and Green Guy, and then you have, you know, Divine Comedy most recently, where it's like there's some songs on there that are doing really well. They're almost like pop songs, and it's a totally different sounds. And do you kind of have a favorite album or a favorite project you've released? Theater of Cruelty.
That's my favorite one.
2022.
But because that, I think that one, I think I've thought about this too. I have like two types of albums. I have like the album where I'm going like one kind of sound or one idea, like, oh, it's like Meat Man, it's a metal album, but there's all different kinds of metal. There's like new metal, there's black metal, so it is one sound, but there's a million different variations of the sound, so it's like I limit myself. And then I have albums where, fuck it, I'm just gonna do everything. That was like Theater of Cruelty, where it's like, oh, it's like I took all the things. Like Meat Man was like practice, Green Guy was practice for when I did a Theater of Cruelty album. Like I sometimes find when I limit myself, it's a lot more challenging. Theater of Cruelty was just like this like totally like freeing thing where it's like I'm just like throwing whatever at the wall and it somehow came out like my favorite thing. And yeah, so like right now I'm kind of going through like another one of those cycles where it's like, okay, Divine Comedy is kind of like a rock album. Like I'm working on an album that is much more electronic based, but there's like rap on it and there's like drum and bass and a lot of different like forms of just like pure electronic music. And then I have another album planned that I kind of want to take both of those albums and almost like combine the approach, which is just like everything. So,
is it going to be like a 2-album year for you, or are you going to drop another album this year?
I want to try for 3, but the second one is almost finished. I'm trying to finish it before tour, trying to get features.
Right.
So if you're an artist, that's my friend that is supposed to get on the album, get it, do it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm trying to get that one finished. But also the third one, I know I'm not going to go too deep into that one, but I know exactly what I want to do for it. I know what it's called, and I know how I want to approach it. And I feel like that one, it's either going to be an album that I do super quickly, or it's going to be like it's going to take time. Like, I don't know how it's going to come
What was the one, and I'm not going to reveal, like, how it sounded or anything, but what was the music unreleased that you were showing me last time we hung out?
That was Human in the Machine. So that's the album.
The upcoming one.
Yeah, that's the one I want.
Yes.
It's either going to come, I think it's more realistically September, because I go on tour in July, and it's like, I still have a bit more work to do on it. But I would say it's like 80% done. And so like that one is like, that one's the next one that, I had a friend tell me that he thought that was like my favorite stuff that I've done. So it's like,
I
feel like
I think that's right.
I think there are people that are going to really like this one because some of it is new sounds. Some of it is almost like a return to form. Like I'm rapping more than I have in a while. And, I don't know. Again, it's not, this album, I don't think there's any guitar on it. There's no guitar. So it's like, there might be one song with guitar, but it's basically the complete opposite of my last record, which was like supposed to be super natural sounding and super nostalgic. This one is supposed to be super electronic, futuristic, dark, sinister. Because I was getting tired of writing love songs. I was just like, man, I want to be deranged again.
Any special features on it? Anything you could tease out on it, or is it all under wraps right now?
I want to keep it under wraps right now, but I have a lot of my friends on it.
Nice.
And then some other people, so.
Nice. What's your kind of like favorite thing to do musically? Do you like rapping more? Do you like melodizing and singing more?
I mean, it depends. I'm kind of just like an ADD person where it's like if I do one thing too much, I just want to do the opposite. Like it's like I was always like that. Even when I was just into like rock music and metal music, when I started playing guitar, I was like, I want to start a band, even though I had no one to be in the band with. So I would spend like 2 or 3 weeks being like really into sludge metal. And then I would get like really into black metal, and I would only be writing black metal riffs. But I was like, in that period, I was like, oh, you have to pick one style and just be that band. So I think I've always kind of been like that if I do one thing too much, like that's why this new album has like more rapping on it, is because I was like, oh, I'm getting tired of like writing like pop songs. You know what I mean? Not really, but like there's some songs on it that are more melodic, but I'm just like, yeah, I just did this too much.
Yeah.
I just it's fun. It's fun. Like I don't know. I just like switching up.
Yeah.
It's just it's like I'm too ADD. Like I can't do the same thing too much.
Yeah. So running to like the last few questions, I feel like MK, you're somebody that's kind of known for your live performances.
Yeah.
The whole pageantry of it. What's kind of influenced your live performances, or is there no influence? Is it organic? I'm talking about everything. The makeup, the way you control your body, jumping into the crowd. Like, just the way you are animated on stage is a bit different, that I would say, than anybody else in Spider Gang and most artists I've seen.
Oh, I would say everything that I do comes from something else. Like, I'm not like a super internal person. I would say like I think about art in sort of like a collage-like way. Like I take this from that and this from that. Like I think like David Bowie is a big influence, but also weird shit. Like I was really into this thing called Butoh, which is a form of like Japanese theater, where if you ever seen like the movie The Grudge, where there's like the kid that paints himself all white, that comes from Butoh. It's like
even the way you move on stage with like the kind of like I don't know how to explain it, but yeah,
it's basically like they would paint themselves all white, and some of the like exercises are it's called the Dance of Darkness. Like one of the exercises that we had was you essentially pretend you're like a puppet. You're like this, and then the teacher tells you like raise your finger, and so you have to do things very slowly. So it's the idea of being in control and out of control at the same time. Like there's another exercise where you pretend like you are a dead body and bugs are crawling through your eyes, and so you have to be like
which you do on stage.
Yeah, so like that's like the Meat Man stuff was super influenced by like Butoh, and like it also helped me a lot of it I was just kind of like, it was like fucked up mime work. That's the way I describe it, and I think that influenced me because it's super slow and it's really getting you to like feel what's in your body and like think about things in like a super abstract way. So that's like one influence. I wasn't like, I took classes in that's like one thing, but also like punk and hardcore, and like I'm a big like Prince fan, you know what I mean? It's just like what like I just like, it's hard for me to like say like this comes from this or this comes from this, because it's like I just am listening to so many different things. I'm like constantly researching. So it's like there's a piece of like a lot of different things in like everything I do.
I'm glad I asked that. It's actually really interesting. Top song you've released.
I mean,
if if you could only choose one, gun to head.
I think maybe City of Fallen Angels. Either City of Fallen Angels or In a Rut, because both of those are just like, oh, this is everything that I can do.
Yes.
Like both of those songs are like the best accurate representation of like
in one song.
It's a pop song. It has electronic shit in it. Both of them have growling vocals, but also singing vocals, and you know, there's like City of Fallen Angels. There's disco in it. There's metal in it. There's R&B in it. Like there's like classic rock shit. You know what I mean? Alt rock shit in it. So it's like, oh, that's everything I can do in one song. Like if I was gonna show you one song, like to show you what I can do, that would be probably it.
Right. Most underrated artist or trend in music.
Most underrated artist or trend in music.
Put us on. Who do we need to tap into?
I need to think about that one. Who's an underrated artist?
The next question is going to be the most overrated trend you're seeing in music.
You know what? Can I pick a new artist?
Yes.
If you're at home,
I think I know what you're going to say.
Check out Ricky Bascom.
I knew you were going to fucking say that, bro.
Because people don't know how talented this dude is. Like, this dude, one, he has crazy bars, makes all of his own beats, and on, like, a bunch of songs, he's, like, doing piano solos. So it's like,
so good.
like his songs have like hella blues influence and like R&B influence and like gospel influence. I'm like, yeah, this dude, I want to work with this dude. He's gonna be on my Atlanta show, I'm pretty sure. So it's like I fuck with him. He's like, he's not underrated because he's like old. I feel like he's just like people haven't like caught up to him yet. Right. I think he's gonna be super lit.
What do you think is the most overrated trend in music?
The most overrated trend. It's
kind of a tough question.
The most overrated trend in music.
I usually ask most overrated artists in music, but I know most artists are like, I don't want to like talk shit, so I'm not going to ask you that.
I mean, I think like an overrated trend.
Like, what are you listening to a lot of where you're like, I'm not into it.
I don't know. I find it very difficult for me to, like, obviously there's shit that, like, I don't vibe with, but, like, you know, even bad music I sometimes kind of like.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, there's this one Post Malone song where it's like the cover of like a Hootie and the Blowfish thing, where he has this like, where it's like the one for like, you ever see that like 3D animated like Pokemon thing where it's like Post Malone and he has like a line about like, I am a cowboy, I cry when I see a baby, or something like that. It's like I was just like, this is like really like hilarious. Like I don't hate this as much. I feel like I don't. Yeah, I don't know. I don't really like hate shit as much. Because I'll make fun of something sometimes, but like I don't know if I don't really like. I guess I get angry more at like trends. Like I find that like I think nowadays a lot of people like music seems like kind of more disposable, and like because of like the TikTok generation, like anyone could like. People that will just like make shit because they know there's gonna be like a trend, you know, like a trend on it. I guess like sometimes, and you know, I feel like, you know, sometimes I like just like a pop song about like, you know, just like something really simple as long as it's like done in a right way. So it's like, you know, I mean, I like everything from like Ariana Grande to just like fucking death metal to like. So it's like I don't. There's not too much that like angers me.
Yeah.
Like
fair enough.
I guess I've seen movies where I walk out like pissed, but that's very rare.
True.